Mods are one of the core pillars of PC gaming, and those of the Goon variety are an inescapable facet of this scene. A robust, esoteric mod community is unironically a significant selling point for a game in a lot of people's eyes. So I'd like to go over a few titles that I think have particularly standout user works. I tried to avoid games with too giant of a modding ecosystem like Skyrim or Cyberpunk, since I'm sure everyone is already aware of those. For the chosen entries, I'll also be going through some general thoughts on the game, if only for the sake of showcasing the mod visuals a bit longer. So without further ado, let's start strong with a more recent release. Stellar Blade's XXTB mod adds quite a lot of customization to the protagonist. It has a bunch of sliders that let you adjust almost every aspect of the character model, and a bunch of new visual accessories that can be layered on top. There have also been efforts to make the mod compatible with the game's numerous outfits. I'll be honest, I might have gone a bit overboard with the sliders initially, and I recommend changing Eve's ponytail length in the settings, because it seems to get stuck on her edited model much more so than usual. Overall, a really impressive mod for this, being a relatively recent PC release. In terms of the actual game, it's kind of like an ecchi Sekiro, having fast-paced combat that's very parry-centric. Some people take issue when I refer to the game as a Souls-like, but I mean it's got a similar camera targeting system, it's got rest points that respawn you and refill your healing items, it's got parrying and even a pseudo-Mikiri counter. I say it fits the build pretty well, but I guess people get irked when everything is compared to Souls games. They might have a point if everything nowadays wasn't actively copying FromSoft's formula. And just like Dark Souls, you'll probably be dying to falls more than enemies, because man, some of the platforming can feel a bit finicky. I was almost never confident in a non-scripted jump. All in all, a superb game. You're now obligated to buy the complete edition on Steam after finishing this video. Next, we'll be looking at the DXD Dreams mod for Resident Evil 2 Remake. There are a variety of build sizes to choose from, but I'll be using the E Extreme variant. A lot of these RE mods have issues with the game's more recent ray trace update, so you have to go into properties and switch to the previous version of the game. The physics are already great in this game, and the mod plays to that strength. It's particularly impressive with water interactions like rain. The RE engine really is at its best in these smaller contained scenes. As for the actual game, it's survival horror at its most polished. It's a good middle point between a faithful recreation and more modern action-oriented gameplay design. With the game being so sleek and polished, some have argued that the friction of the older tank control games is where the genre's real soul was. That kind of philosophical musing is above my pay grade. I'm no survival horror connoisseur. I only even got the game because of this mod. I'm kinda lowbrow, so the only thing I can say with confidence is if you like zombie shoot games, then you'll like this. And since we're here, we might as well go over the Jill mod for Resident Evil 3 Remake. Functionally, it's largely the same as the previous mod, even having different build variants to choose from, although I think this one has an overall more impressive model and even has a higher F variant, which is the one I'll be using. People loved 2's remake, but they really weren't so hot on this one. It cut out a bunch of content which helped paint the picture that this was more of a quick product release compared to the carefully crafted previous remake. I saw the phrase B-Team thrown around a lot in discussion threads. I'm not sure if the original game was like this, but this remake feels kinda linear. There is some parts to explore around, but for the most part, it seems like a straight beeline from set piece to set piece. All in all, it's still a fine game if you go in with tempered expectations. But to be honest, I'm a little partial towards this game over 2, just because it has the better mod. Next, we'll be talking about the expanded mod for the first Darkest Dungeon. This is a complete overhaul mod for the game. It adds new mechanics, new dialogue, new status effects, and much more. It's really impressive just how much this aims to change. I mean, a lot of it is simply window dressing over existing systems, but there has been a major effort to create new stuff. Apparently, this is a continuation of an older existing mod, and the new dev is still rolling out major updates, so check out their Patreon if you're interested in upcoming changes. As for the actual game, it's a high-difficulty dungeon-crawling turn-based RPG with town management elements. It's infamous for its permadeath mechanic, wherein your hired party members can on any run die to a string of unlucky rolls, and with them goes all the time and effort you invested. It's very punishing, but the dark fantasy grit is the whole appeal, and was extremely novel when the game first released. Some fans really don't like the sequel, but that's a whole other thing that I don't want to wade into. If you like grim-dark dungeon crawlers, then give this series a shot. For the final entry, we'll be looking at the Blessed Body mod for the first code vein. I also threw in the curvy EO mod for good measure. I'll be honest, the mod scene for this game wasn't nearly as large as I was expecting. I mean, this was a fairly popular Souls game, and the character creator was one of the best for the anime aesthetic. Yet the offerings here are kinda meager. I don't want to sound ungrateful. I'm glad that I get to have anything at all. I'm just surprised the mod scene never really took off to the same degree that other games have. Maybe the upcoming sequel will have better luck. It does seem to have more hype behind it now that this series is more established. Also, remember to turn on blood veil transparency in the settings so your armor isn't obscuring the modded outfit. In terms of the actual game, you can probably tell that it's a Souls-like, although it leans a bit more towards Bloodborne, with its goth attire and blood mechanics. One of the big differentiating mechanics is this game's partner system, where you can assign an additional party member to travel beside. They're like a permanent summon, and they're actually quite good, being able to hold their own pretty consistently. There's really not much else to say other than it's like Dark Souls. If you like those games and are fine with a bit of jank, then you'll have a good time with this. Well, I hope at least one of these mods caught your eye. I glossed over a lot, so give these a try yourself if this type of thing interests you. One of my favorite parts of new releases is seeing how its mod scene develops. Remember that depending on the mod site you use, a lot of content will be hidden for certain account setting preferences. And if you enjoy these mods, consider throwing something the creator's way. Thanks for watching, and if you want the unaltered version of this video, then check the description. And don't forget to like and subscribe.